Good morning and welcome to this week's Lifespan Development Program. This week we will be looking at people above the age of 75. We have a few interesting subjects to interview this morning, and for our first subject we're going to have a little look and a meet of Venice from Poland. Come with me. And here we have Venice. How are you today, Venice?
Hello, I'm good.
We're just going to ask you a few questions for our viewers today. Our first question is, what do you think is the best age to be and why?
I'd have to say about 60, when I finally retired, was able to travel, explore my family history.
I like to travel. Okay, Venice, what or who has been the greatest influence on your life so far?
Oh, definitely would have to say my father. He taught me a lot about life, working hard and doing the best you could.
Excellent. And lastly, Venice, before we let you go to your morning's aerobic class, does being the age you are now feel how you imagined?
To be honest, I thought I'd be dead by now.
Venice was certainly a character. Let's have a little look at what Mavis has to say. Mavis is getting herself a double shot, I believe. Mavis, can we ask you what or who has been the greatest influence on your life so far?
Well, my greatest influence has been my sister, because she's always been there for me, and we used to get up to so much mischief.
I bet. Hey, Mavis, does being the age you are now feel how you imagined?
Not really. I've got a really sore hip at the moment, but other than that, it's alright.
Oh, that's good to hear. And lastly, Mavis, before we let you get your caffeine hit, could you tell us what you think the stereotypes are for your age and how you do or don't fit these stereotypes?
Well, I think I do, really. I love knitting. I love drinking my coffee. I like reading long books. Yeah, I like being my age.
Thank you, Mavis. We'll get stuck into the caffeine. We'll see you later. Let's check in with our lifespan development expert, Dr. Kara, and see what she has to say.
Yes, hello. So, elderly people have been alive for the longest amount of time, so they are able to reflect on their lives and understand who was a really significant influence on them. Now, according to some research by Dufresne, he mentions that society's most resilient institutions are marriage and families, because they provide emotional, physical and communal support.
We've certainly got a great panel of subjects this morning, haven't we? Now, we've come over to the golf course where we're going to have a little look at Doris. Doris, good morning.
Hi, just let me get up.
You need a hand there?
Yes.
You right there? Off we go, Doris. Oh, great. Okay, out for a spot of golf today.
Yes,
Hey.
might be a bit challenging.
We won't keep you long, will we, viewers? Just ask you a couple of questions. Doris, could you tell us how much sleep do you get a night, and do you ever power nap between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
I do.
I get good 5 hours sleep, I think, a night. Power naps, sometimes in a chair, just when I'm watching my golf shows.
If golfing allows her time for a nap, maybe.
Yes.
Doris, what would you do if a shop assistant gave you too much change?
I would run away very quickly, as fast as I could.
More money for golf balls.
That's right.
Okay, and lastly, Doris, before we let you get to it, what have you done that you would never tell your parents about?
Well, when I was about 16, we lived near a cemetery, and my boyfriend and I were sitting behind a gravestone where someone would always come every night and say goodnight to his father. My boyfriend put dirt all over his hand, and then when he said goodnight, this man, my boyfriend, stuck out his hand and shook his hand and said goodnight. 3 weeks later, we found out that man had a heart attack.
Oh,
But
my
he
goodness.
survived.
No wonder you didn't tell your parents. Thank you, Doris. Have a lovely morning. Gardens here, where I think we're going to find Heather. She said she would be sitting on the bench reading a book. Let's go and see. Heather. Excuse me, Heather. Heather. Oh, Heather. How are you doing there? Just reading.
Yes.
Yes. Little nap. We're just going to ask you 3 quick questions, and we'll let you get right back to your nap or your book.
My reading, yes.
Heather, how much sleep do you get a night, and do you ever power nap between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m?
Well, I think I get at least a couple of hours. I think between 6 and 7 hours. I sometimes power nap when I get all my jobs done.
When you're reading a book, maybe.
Oh, sometimes.
Okay, thank you, Heather. And what would you do if a shop assistant gave you too much change?
Well, I'd like to think I'm an honest person. So I tell the young lady that she's given me the wrong change.
That's very honest of you, Heather. And Heather, lastly, before we let you get back to your book, what have you done that you would never tell your parents about?
Oh, there was this one time I've done something and I haven't told my parents. It was when I first got my licence and I did this big skid down the road. We lived on a farm, you see, and I didn't think anyone saw, but knowing my luck, my father was probably sitting on the porch watching me.
Oh dear, bit of rough driving in the country. Thank you, Heather. We'll leave you to your I think it's time we checked in with Dr. Kara about all of that. I might just grab a quick coffee myself.
Okay, so sleep is an essential aspect of physical and emotional well-being, as stated by Wiley. Once people get older, they have a change in lifestyle, and sometimes they can develop sleep problems, and this may just be caused by the fact that they actually can't fall asleep as quickly as they used to, which this leads to an overall decline in rapid eye movement and an increase in sleep fragmentation, which can lead to napping during the day because of tiredness.
It's certainly been an interesting program this morning, and Dr. Kara has had some terrific things to say. Our next subject is a lady called Pamela. Apparently we'll also find her in the garden, and she's knitting. Let's have a look for Pamela. Pamela, good morning. Hi, are you looking for something?
Could you help me find my glasses? I think I'm looking at them somewhere.
Are they black?
Yes, they're black.
They're for reading.
Yes.
I think there might be, I think they're on your head.
Are you sure about
I
that?
think they're just,
Oh, whoops. I forgot.
oh, there we go. Hi Pamela.
Hello, how are you?
Good. What are you knitting?
I'm trying to knit a scarf for my granddaughter.
Excellent. Is she young?
She's 5 years old.
5. That's beautiful. Can we just ask you a few quick questions in the middle of your knitting?
Sure, no problem.
Our first question is, what do you think is the best age to be and why?
Well, I think the best age to be is like around 50. So you can be a grandmother and look after your grandson and granddaughters and go travelling around to places.
That sounds pretty good. I'll look forward to one more question before we leave you to your knitting. And that is, what has been the best experience in your life so far?
Well, travelling to Europe with my husband and my children, I think. When I was like around 40 years old.
What was the highlight of Europe?
Going to the Paris.
Paris.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Pamela. Good luck
you.
with your knitting.
Thank you.
Okay, so stereotyping is when a person's behaviour or attitude towards a person is based on their apparent observations or experiences. There are stereotypes for every age group. Some of the common ones associated with the elderly age group are the beliefs that their cognitive abilities decrease. It's usually associated with forgetfulness, senile thinking and incompetence. Let's have a look and see what the elderly think of this.
Our next subject, Betty, is doing something a little unexpected for someone over the age of 75. Apparently, we're to find Betty here amongst the bicycles. Good morning, Betty.
Oh, hello there.
What a fantastic bike.
It's quite lovely, isn't it?
It is a splendid colour. Are you just arriving or just heading
I'm
off?
trying to find the right key, but
Yes, well we might have to leave that with you, Betty, but do you mind if we just ask you a couple of quick questions?
yeah, you can go ahead.
All right then. Betty, what or who has been the greatest influence in your life so far?
My family and everyone who's helped me through the hard times I've been through, and yeah, friends.
Sounds like a good social network, Betty.
They were.
And Betty, can you tell us what are the stereotypes for your age group, and do you fit them or not?
I don't really know about those.
Riding a bicycle is certainly
That is, but
not
I don't
so usual.
Very.
Okay, Betty, and lastly, what has been the best experience in your life so far?
Moving to different countries. I was born in Bhutan, so I came to Nepal, and then now I'm in Australia, which is not what I had expected my life would be like. So
A little bit
it has been quite nice.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Betty, and I
That is
hope you
okay.
find that key.
So in life we all experience different things at different times which actually shape us into who we are. Now, according to some research by Hughes, these life influences can have an impact on our actions and our beliefs.
Our final subject for the day is a lovely lady called Audrey. You can see behind me, we're off to Flinders Vision because Audrey has decided at the ripe age of 77, it may just be time for some reading glasses. Let's go find her. Can we ask you a few questions with your new reading glasses on?
Yes.
She looks good.
Thank you.
Audrey, what do you think is the best age to be and why?
I think my best age to be was being around 20. I think it was the best age because I could do anything I wanted, and I got my license, and yeah.
She was ready to drive. Audrey, what do you think are the stereotypes for your age group, and do you or don't you fit them?
People think I'm very boring and old, but I don't think that way. They think I would be very forgetful, and I don't feel I really fit into those stereotypes.
I don't think she does either, do you?
Okay, so from the research conducted, it is apparent that ageing has many positive aspects. From the footage provided, it is obvious that stereotypes are not always concrete for each age group. With modern technologies and medicines that we now have access to, it is safe to say that we have a lot more to look forward to in the later years of our lives. Personally, I'm going to go buy myself one of those green bikes.